Bonjour and welcome to this last session of our well-being seminar. If you haven't met me yet, my name is Sandra Sieb. I am the co-founder of Leadership Partners, a leadership advisory firm in Australia. So today I would like to talk about spiritual well-being. We have already covered physical well-being and emotional well-being. If you haven't seen those sessions, you can look back on our YouTube channel, Leadership Partners. But today I would like to talk to you about spiritual well-being. It is very ambitious on my behalf to attempt to talk about spiritual well-being in less than 10 minutes, especially given how emotionally charged the topic of spirituality is. It's been very interesting to observe people's reaction when I said I was going to record this video. I guess it's because of the connection we usually make between spirituality and religion and our personal relationship to religion. So there is no doubt that spirituality can be connected to religion, or more generally to our relationship to what we call the divine, God, whatever works for you. But this is not what I intend to talk about today. So let me maybe first define what I mean by spirituality. What I mean by spirituality is connecting with life in a bigger, more intense way, in a way that makes life worth living, that showcase life as full of possibility and potential. So I guess I'm talking about feeling really deeply alive and having a sense of meaning. As I said, it's a bit tricky to talk about this simply, so I'm going to do my best, and I think I'll use a lot of examples to help you understand what I'm referring to. So maybe first, this sense of aliveness. I think this is what you feel in those what we call breathtaking moments, or in those moments of intense connection with other beings. So typically, I'm thinking of moments like awe, joy, love, friendship, those moments where we feel there's something that really is intense and yummy about what we're experiencing. When I'm thinking of awe, AWE, I'm sorry, it's always tricky for me to pronounce. It's a feeling I discovered in my 20s in New Zealand. I was traveling from Christchurch to Queenstown with my mother, and we crossed that road that I think is called the Lupine Road. There were those beautiful purple flowers left and right, lakes. I don't think at that time I was really sensitive to beauty, but that was just so much, so beautiful that we had to stop and say, oh, this is just so amazing, so beautiful. Um, and I think it's just about, I'm pretty sure most of you will resonate with that. We all have moments where we can't help but looking and saying how amazing a specific scenery can be. And it doesn't have to be anything, really big. It can be just a sunrise, even in the city. But being able to connect very deeply with beauty in the moment, I think is creating that sense of intensity I'm trying to transmit here. You can also get that intensity when sharing something with someone, whether it's one very specific person or with in a crowd. I'm thinking of all those sports moments when you go and cheer for your favorite team, and there's this sense of suspense of what are they going to score a goal, and you're carried by the energy of the crowd, and then if they win, is hallelujah. They've there's joy, there's intensity, and that again is what I mean by connecting with aliveness. And again, you don't have to go to a specific sport event. Last week I went on a walk with two friends, and we're not in super good mood, so we tried that gratitude practice I mentioned in the emotional well-being video, and in turn each of us said something that we were grateful for, and that lasted about half an hour, and then we switched to saying something nice about each other. We came back after an hour all feeling awesome and feeling having shared something very special. So those are the kind of moments I'm talking about. So I guess to help you find your moment, when I'm thinking about are moments like you can find in nature, learning to pay attention, be in the moment, sunrise, sunset, ocean, forest, whatever you have access. Again, even just a sunrise on the building or sunset can be a magical moment. all it is about being able to find the magic in little moments. It can be even in just watching the rain. So I'm not talking about anything fancy. It's a matter of opening your eyes and opening your heart to what is just there right now in front of you. And of course, in this COVID world, we might often have been disconnected from our friends, our family. But I think you can still connect with people in a very humane way, even if you don't know them. I don't know how you feel, but when I go for a walk, there's nothing that I like more than smiling to someone and just, as we're crossing each other's paths, just to exchange a smile, a nod, just saying hello. You never know the impact you will have on someone. And what I'm always noticing is how I feel when I say hello and smile to a total stranger. So we don't have to know the person to still feel that kind of humanity and kindness within yourself. It just means that it's a bit different. So I think we're often too attached to experiences we know and not open enough to trying different things. So I think this is what I'm trying to really convey here is open your eyes, open your heart, and look for what is possible here in the now to connect with this sense of life as being a beautiful adventure. In the practical way, you can also connect with this sense of adventure when you learn something new. There is this concept in positive psychology called flow, which is a right mix of challenge and sense of agency, sense of being able to do something. If it's too hard, then you get overwhelmed. If it's too easy, you get bored. But just this right mix that you often get when you learn something new, or you do something you're really fully absorbed by. Again, trying to use one of my examples to illustrate my point. Early on, when I first arrived in Australia, I joined Toastmaster, a public speaking organization to improve on my English. And I realized that I love public speaking. And when I was working on the speech, I had my kids were little, but trust me, when I was working on the speech, I was really focused. And it was really hard for me to just stop what I was doing because I was so raptured by the moment, by the creativity, that I really loved that. And that again is a sense of being fully in the moment. I think it's something that artists often also find when they're creating. So it can be just in taking a class, in cooking something. Again, anything that will really get you to focus a bit more intensely in the now and forget the current context is likely to give you that sense of aliveness I'm trying to talk about today. And then the other points I want to make, which is quite important, is the sense of meaning, of having a direction, of a life worth living. This month is October, it's the Mental Health Awareness Month in Australia. And there's a massive issue with suicide, especially in the young people. And this is a crisis of meaning. Our young people and also our adults don't always have a sense of hope, or a sense of there's something worth for me doing. And I think we really need to spend some time reflecting on what gives me meaning. I often find people coming to me and say, "Oh, I don't know what my purpose in life is." Purpose is a really big question, and in itself, it can create a lot of pressure on you. And so, what I usually say, if there's not a sense of purpose just arising from who you are, and you don't know, at least try to find some meaning. You don't all have to have a sense of purpose. Having a meaningful life is already a way to have a really rich life, but you need to know what gives you meaning. And that takes some soul searching, takes some time reflecting on who I am, what do I value, what's important to me in my life. So many big questions. I think one of the first questions you can ask yourself is, what do I care about? What is important for me in life? And see the things that you care about. Do you have them in your life at the moment? And if not, what can you do to dial things up a little bit and have a bit more of what is important to you? I remember years ago, someone asking me this question that I found really helpful. She asked me, Sandra, on any given day, how do you want to feel? So of course, for me, feeling works, in case you haven't noticed, I'm a feeling person. But for people who are less into feelings, you can do the same thing in terms of doing. On any given day, what do you want to see yourself doing? What is important for you to have done? It can be around, for me, it's about having a balanced life. So it's about having, exercise, spending time with my family, having had a rich, working experience, and and etc. But that's a very personal question. What is important for you? What do you care about? Only you can answer, and it takes time and reflection to answer this question. And I think the current context has really given all of us an opportunity to reflect. I think there's a lot of things we had taken for granted that we're realizing we missed. And that's amazing, because I think it's a way to try in the future to make sure we have those things more present in our life, and not realize and pay attention that they're there. So I think in general, COVID has given all of us an opportunity to transform, to look, at our life and say, okay, this is really hard, but what do I like about this new life? Because of course, there's been a lot of difficulty, but there's also been a lot of silver lining. I look at people's life and I hear of new beginnings left and right, of people having realized that they really want to be home. They didn't want to travel as much. So a lot of things are going to be shifting in the next few months, next couple of years. So I don't know if we'll ever go back to the life we used to have. So it's an amazing opportunity for each and every one of us to realize, what changes do I want to make in my life now? And if now is not possible, because you might not be able to change everything just now, that's okay. But have this in the back of your mind and try to progressively nudge your life towards more alignment to who you want to be. Because there is no doubt that having a life that's aligned with what's important to you will create a sense of well-being. So voila, this is what I wanted to share with you. There's so much more I could say, but I tried to keep this as simple as I could. As I said before in the first video, I think a way to look at this is to possibly contemplate the 3 different well-being I've been talking about: physical, emotional, and spiritual, and really rate yourself out of 10 on each of those dimensions, and then see where do you land today with, if 10 is the best you can be, and where you're at, and what's the one thing you can do in each of the dimension, or in one specific dimension of well-being, to nudge yourself to a bit of a better life. There's we're not talking about going from A to Z in one day, but just A to B, B to C, very little steps that progressively will help you feel greater. This is true not just today in COVID time, it's true, I think, for our entire life. I know, at least in Sydney, we're seeing a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, but I have no doubt that the next coming months are going to be full of questions and challenge for most of us as we're trying to readjust to our new normal. So thank you for having joined me in this journey. This has definitely given me meaning. So I appreciated your company and your encouragement, and I hope you got something out of it. Au revoir et à bientôt.